What's up, everybody? We just got done with class right here. I had to wait for the stream to configure, but we're going to go over to MyPearson, and we're going to do Chapter 1 quiz, unless someone jumps in and says, wait, do this! I'll usually redo things, whatever we want. If I've already done it in a different stream, that's fine. If you're here, you get to ask. That's the way office hours go. But if you're in the chat, are you working on the quiz? Maybe has anyone joined in yet right now, working on the quiz? We can get the quiz done. You just put the question you're working on in the chat, and then I'll do the question. That's the way you say, hey, Brian, here's the first few words of my question, and then I'll answer it, explain it. You'll get a video explaining how to do it, how to solve it. And you get to learn the concept a little bit better. What's up, HCT? I'd like a slower demonstration. How you find? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Excel review, and you got it. And this is the perfect time. That's why I love office hours. So let's do the first thing right here. Using Excel for analytics. Okay, let's go do it. Office hours is the perfect time to ask any question, and we can go into more detail, and you get a video of it in the future. So right now, you'll see I have Excel open. A really cool trick in Excel is to just hit Control or Command-N. That opens up a new instance, and I love it because it's quicker than going to File, New. It's like a little quicker. And we're just going to pretend we're collecting data on a pizza party. So at our pizza party, we might record how many slices of pizza people ate. So you could see the first person ate 4, the next person ate 3, Brian ate 5. It was good pizza. Then we had someone who ate 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 8. They ate the whole pizza. Nothing wrong with that. We bought a lot of pizza. So we wanted that. So now we have the data. Is this quant or cat? Put C or Q in the chat. Is this quant or cat? Quant means quantitative, as in actual real numbers. Cat means categorical, as in groups. There's also special kinds of categoricals like identifiers, which are unique for each and every variable, or each observation, I should say. And ordinal means it's in order, like stake preference from rare to mid-rare to mid-well to well. So what kind of variable is this? What kind of variable is this? It's quant. Soraya, good to see you there. We'll throw some points. It's quant. And good, eliminate, and drop some questions. We can do anything else after this. We're just showing how to use Excel right now. We can jump over to Pearson, whatever you want. This is also what we'd say continuous data, because this person ate 1.5 slices. Hopefully they took that other slice, half a slice home, but you need half a slice of pizza, making it continuous quantitative. So discrete means it has to be whole numbers, like how many pets do you own, but that can be quantitative discrete. Quantitative continuous means it can have decimals. So it's technically a quantitative variable that is continuous. Now, to find certain metrics like the mean, the median, the standard deviation, we don't have to use the Excel toolkit. So as everyone's here, we're going to find all of these right here, not using the Excel toolkit. That's a good way of finding these too. To start a formula in Excel, what do you always type? To bring up the formulas you can run to do analysis in Excel, start by writing a what in the cell. It equals, HCT knows right there, in equals. This brings up all the different options for formulas that you can do. And now we're going to write average. So equals average. We're going to double click it. And then we're going to hold and select the vector of data. Vector just means like a line of things. And then we're going to close it off with a parentheses, which you notice it even shows you that you're connecting those parentheses, like do the average of the thing inside here. And there we are. You can also round it and all that good stuff by changing the decimals right there. So you can round numbers. That's always nice in Excel. The median is found. I don't think there's a median function. Oh, there is. There is a median function. I use a different function. So you can just do equals median, select the vector of data, and then we're just going to take right here, close it off. Notice how the parentheses connect, and there's the median. So actually, we do have an odd amount of data, or an even amount of data, because there is row 1. So we have 12 observations. So it'd be between observations 6 and 7, which is 2.5. So 6 and 7 must be 2 and 3 respectively. And standard deviation equals standard deviation right here. I think it's this one, standard deviation. I always use that one. Probably other ones are fine too, but this is my favorite. It answers our questions correctly. Select the vector. How's this looking, HCT? Is this looking good right here? You can do I think the IQR you can't do, you have to do, let's do this. Equals, I'll pause on this one because this one people might want to see it's quartile. So to get Q1 and Q3, you have to go to equal quartile. And then you select here the data. And then when you do this, you can see it's asking you, do you want the first quartile, the min, the median? That's what I usually do for the median, or the Q3. So we could do Q3 right there and do that. and then this one, Q1, is equal quartile, and then select the data again, and then do 1 right there for first quartile. How do you execute all the functions with the few clicks from earlier? Do you mean... It might have been glitching. Do you expand upon that question, ACT, and I'll try to answer. And the IQR is going to be equal Q3 minus Q1, and the IQR is 2 because the distance between those. So that means the range of the middle 50% of this data is 2. The middle 50% goes from 2 slices to 4 slices eaten. So 25% of people ate more than 4 slices, 25% of people ate less than 2 slices, and the middle 50%. How do I know if I've already have the newest version of Excel? You should be good. If you can get the Data Analytics Toolpak, you're good. Good questions, Zariah, right there. I think you can go to like File and stuff like that, but as long as it's pretty recent, you're good. I don't think we grade on the newest version. It's just to make sure that you're, because there's different versions. If you get the Data Analytics Toolpak, you're probably good. If there's issues, let me know. Because if people are using like a super old version, then things might not work the same. The further you are back, the more differences. Truthfully, I probably don't even have the latest version of Excel. We just don't want someone using like a 2010 or 2012 or 2015 version. 2015 version, no. And the min equals min. How are we doing on this? Are people good on how you can find values in Excel? And that is how we get some values right there. We just select the data and do this right here. In the class, it looked like you had selected the data and then clicked data and somehow... Oh, yeah. Let me show that. So this is going to be the Data Analytics Toolpak. So using Excel or using Data Analytics Toolpak in Excel. So, yeah, that's good questions right there. So this is how to use the Data Analytics Toolpak. What we're going to do right here is you need to install it. Check out the video. I don't know if I have that. This is from last. No, that's from current. And drop more questions, because we'll go on to the next thing right after this. But I love the questions. That's what these officers are here for. Where did I put... Oh, wait. You can go to the YouTube channel and search Analytics Toolpak. So Analytics Toolpak. And then you can see right here, here's how they get the Excel add-in. And if you're on a Mac, it's going to be under Tools at the top. And then you will do Excel add-ins. So I showed in this video right here, where on a PC, you will go to, I'll show you on the PC. So here's how to do it on a PC. On your PC, go to File, and then under File, go to Options. Under Options, you want to go down to Add-ins, and then on Add-ins, go to the bottom of your screen, which we're not currently seeing, and you will see at the bottom, Excel Add-ins. Hit Go. Once you click Go, select Analysis Toolpak, and then click OK. Once you've done this, you will see under your Data tab, go to the Data tab, Data Analysis. It has to be the application and not the web version. Oh, yeah, great answer right there. Great answer / comment. I like that. Points in the chat. And then on a Mac, it'll be the active window selected, and then at the top of the screen, not here, you'll see Tools, Excel Add-ins. So if you're on a Mac, Tools, Excel Add-ins. So once you have under your data analysis, there's a lot of things you can do. We're going to click data analysis and go to descriptive statistics. I'll pause here. So once you've done this, go to data analysis, descriptive statistics, and click OK. The first thing it asks us for is the input range of our data. Now notice there is a label in this first row. So we need to hit label in first row because there's a label called pizza. We could also select our data more conservatively, less of it selected, and there we go. And now we're going to give the summary statistics, confidence interval, which we don't need right now, but we'll do it. And we're going to put in a new worksheet. So have your data selected, make sure if there's a label, you tell it that there's a label, and then click OK. And there it is. I like to copy it over here, make it look all pretty. But how does this look? Does this make sense? How is this looking? I like to be like, okay, let's make this look really good right here. Thoughts or comments? Thoughts or comments? There we go. You can even like be like, let me go here. Let me fill this in. Let's do this. Awesome. Nice. Yeah. And once you see how to do it, it's like, okay, I get what's going on. I get what's going on. And you can just like, if you're going to present this to someone, you'd probably make it look more like this. So there we go. That's, a much nicer presentation of it. You can double click there and it'll expand it. You could also clean up the decimals here too if you want. You could do them all at one time. I'm holding Shift. And then you could clean it up a little bit more. But yeah, awesome, Libney. And well, should we do MyPearson? Who wants to get a lot of MyPearson done? Just start dropping your MyPearson questions in, and I'll start doing them all. Let's go check out MyPearson. But just be like, hey, my question says this. And when you come to office hours, I just do the question. Because I don't think we have a Canvas content due right now. Or do we have a Canvas content due like coming up? Because I could do the Canvas content too. What if you want to do? Canvas content or Pearson? Let me look at what's coming up. Okay, so tonight, we have a Canvas content. That's the class. Okay, that's easy. Oh, and we have one due on... Oh, we already have that. Okay. Yeah, we don't have another Canvas content till Friday next week? Oh, awesome, HTT. This is recorded for later. So you can check it out later. Just come check it out. I might do Ian Walker because everyone always wonders that one. This one people get stuck on. Well, Ed, feel free to swing by this anytime. Check out the reviews later. I'm going to start probably working on some questions, but what you can do is you can just drop your question, drop the first 3 words of it. If you say question 5, I have every question from the quiz. You have only a partial view. You get a random assortment of these, but you get 5 attempts at the quiz. I'd use as many as you can. Get them done early. Get 100s. Get 100s. Get them done early. Be like, let me just come to office hours. Let me just ask Brian, hey, how do you do this question? How do you do this question? Listen on how to do it. Does anyone have any of these questions they want me to go over? Zariah, Libney, anyone else watching? Mary, if you chat, you get points for chatting. So you can even just say hi in the chat if you're here, because I think we have 9 people watching. But drop a question in the chat. Need some lunch. Oh, let's do it. Okay, Megan, let's do the Ian question. Ready? It's like, Ian Walker, this is your life. You never had a son or a wife. It's a song. Probably no one knows. Stat 201. And this is MyPearson Quiz, Chapter 1, Ian Walker. Here, let's do this. Ronan, good to see you here. And drop another question in the chat because we'll put them on the list and we'll just keep doing everyone's questions as we say them. So what you have to understand about this Ian Walker question, let's bring up a pad right here so we can work on it. We're going to bring up a word pad. That's what they call it these days, right? Oh. Okay. To understand this question, you have to imagine what he's doing. And here's what Ian's doing. Ian is riding his bike with no handlebars. No handlebars. So here's Ian. There's his bike. There's Ian riding it. He can't ride it. So with this, there are cars around Ian. These cars have a distance. Ian is wondering, does this distance change when Ian wears a helmet or not? I would take it till you get 100 and then ask any questions you were wondering about. Yeah, I would just, and then ask anything and then just review. Like, you have to think, like, what is going on in this question? Like, okay, so Ian is riding his bike in traffic. He's trying to understand this distance cars are away from him. So how far are these cars away? And does this distance change when he's wearing a helmet or not wearing a helmet? Does that make sense? Who follows me? Guy riding bike, trying to understand the distance cars are away from him when he's wearing a helmet or not wearing a helmet. That's what's going on in this question. And he's a researcher at the University of Bath or whatever, just whatever. That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
So what are the who's in this study? The who's are the rows of data. So when you think about a who in a study, it's a row of data. When would Ian take data? Does anyone know? When would Ian take data? So each row of data in the study is a who. Is it A, B, C, or D? And don't worry about being wrong. Remember, we got this guy wearing a helmet, recording every time a car goes by him, trying to figure out the distance and whether or not wearing a helmet impacts that distance. So would it be the bike riders, the who in the study? What is the who? And it's every time you record data is a who. Like each row of data is a who. So the who's are the rows of data. Every time a car passes him, exactly. The distances the cars pass, so each time a car passes, that's when he records data. That's what a who is. It's weird to say a who is the car passing. Well, that's what records the data. So it's each time the car passes, and we would take data on that car passing. He'd probably also take like whether he was wearing a helmet or not. And what are the what's in this study? It would be the distances. I think that's about it. I think that's it. I hate that this is a multi-select. Hopefully I don't get it wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the distance at which cars pass the bicycle rider. it should have whether or not he's wearing a helmet. He should have recorded that. That's where it gets tricky. For Excel, we'll look at that next. And identify the population of interest. Now, you have to know what the population of interest is. Let's write down what the term population of interest means. So population of interest. We'll make this bigger here. Every individual or thing that our sample is trying to make an inference about. Yeah, whether or not he's wearing a helmet should also be a what. I'm trying to make sure maybe I'll miss something on this question. But if we were to add to that, Megan, we would probably add another what he has is if he was wearing a helmet. The what's are the columns of the data. So Ian's data should probably theoretically look like this. It'd be distance and helmet. So each time a car passes him, he would take a distance of like whatever distance is. And then he would take whether or not that car was close, whether or not he was wearing a helmet. Does that make sense? Like, oh man, that'd be scary right there. But this is what the data would look like. Each instance of a car passing is a who. And although they didn't put that as one of the whats, he should ask, what are we recording? We're recording the distance and was he wearing a helmet? So these are the whats, the columns. These are the who's, the rows. And I wish they put, whether or not he was wearing a helmet. So what would be the population of interest, which is everything we're trying to understand? In the totality, and this is where usually a mistake happens on this one, is it A, B, C, or D? The totality. What is he truly trying to understand? Now, not what he gets data on, but what is he truly trying to understand? Is it A, B, C, or D? Don't worry about being wrong. We'll throw points either way. What is he truly trying to understand in the full sense? Now, he's not going to know this, but he's going to try to make inferences about it. He's going to make an educated guess about it from his sample data. Yes, nice job, Megan. I think we just got the 100. It's B, because the population of interest is everything we want to understand. It's like when you go out and do a poll of students. Well, you don't understand all students. You want to understand all students. That's why it's called the population of interest, because we're interested in it. So he's trying to understand, like, what's the deal with bikers? As Jerry Seinfeld once said, what's the deal with bikers? And distances that cars pass them by on whether or not they wear a helmet. So really good answers right there. And then I see a question from Delaney. For the Excel homework, does the copy and pasted information include all the column names to be copied to the second sheet in the random sheet, or there's need to be a new sheet, empty sheet added? Copy in a new sheet. Copy in a new sheet. And if there's issues, let me know. Or like send me a quick, does this look good, Brian? And if I okay, you're okay. And also, we have in-person office hours today. Swing by those if you want. So is he taking data on a few cars and hopes exactly? And hopefully he gets a representative sample, because there might be the issue like maybe his city's different. Like this is a city where they're like, hey, get off the road. Or there's like a bike-friendly city with bike lanes. Like he should probably also collect, was he in a bike lane? He should probably collect what time of day it was. So these would be more whats to collect, because the whats are the variables. So there's a lot to understand. Like his study is very, I'm just going to ride my bike and see how far people are away from me. Well, how are you measuring it? Like, there's more to it. Like he should. It's because we don't care about the types of cars. And that would be another thing to collect on too. Like what type of car would it be? He just didn't collect on that. It doesn't say that he collected. He could. So Zariah, good answer right there. That could be theoretically another what, but it didn't say he collected. The only two possible whats that it mentions are the distance and the helmet. And unfortunately, they don't mention right here helmet, and then they make it a multi-select to make it confusing. Another Pearson question. If you've got it, ask it. This is probably one of the hardest ones, but once you know the tricks to it, you're good. So what is another Pearson question? I can just grab one. What is another? Just drop the first 3 words of it, and I'll find it. I can't find it with question 5, though, because I have different questions. So open up your Pearson Chapter 1 quiz and just be like, if you just ask, then I'll do it, and you'll see the right answers. Be like, Mom says it. Even if you think you know it, if you're like, I think I got this. Get 100 to start the semester. I'll do a new one here in a second, but you get to pick. Ian Walker's, we do it every semester. This is the one that is the hardest one, like I said. Go like 10 more seconds, and I'll pick one on my own. I'll pick one. We'll throw some UBOT points. I've thrown a lot. Okay, let's start to sports announce. Let's go find it. I think I might get this one wrong. Let's see. Sports on perfect. Thank you so much for doing it that way. If you notice, I look for the first few words. Facebook photos one, yeah, it starts with Facebook photos. Does it? I think I know. It's like what are the who's and what's of the Facebook photos, right? So always give me the first 3 words of it, and then I can find it with like sports announce. So I'll look for the first like 3 words. See that it says sports announcers? Boom. And then what I do is I take this. Oh, I do get this one wrong every once in a while. I take this and I take the first 3 words of it and I put it over here. So in the future, you can search the channel and then we take the timestamp and then you can come back to this later and you can see. So if you just come to these office hours, I just do what people ask. So you're like, wait, but you can also find it by searching the channel too. Like you can search around the channel and find just by going to the search. Let me just show that. Maybe someone's watching this. But on the channel, I've done these questions a lot. Like if you go to sports announcer. So if you don't find what you, oh, look at that. It's maybe we haven't done it lately. But you should be able to find it. There's some sports interviews and we might, nope. See, that's 2. Here we go. So this is longish hair Brian doing some of the stuff. There you go. Man, my hair was long. Got longer. And sports announcers, there you go. So here's me doing the question. We could cheat and see the answer. Don't do that. Don't cheat and see it. It is the individual games. Your hair got long, Brian, man. Anyways, let's go back here. It says, who are the who's in the data? So what are the who's of a data set? To learn and remember, what are the who's of a data set? The who's are the what's. 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 The rows. The rows are the who's. So when you look at a data set, you would look at it here, and you'd have rows as the who's and columns as the what's. So you can think of like, what did we collect on? Nice job right there, as Orion knows. What's and who's. That's not how you spell who. Sure. These are the who's. These are the what's. And so when you think about Super Bowl games, they'll be like, in this Super Bowl, we just broke a record for most touchdowns. Tom Brady came back. If you didn't know, Tom Brady's, they're bringing him back this year. Tom Brady came out of retirement and got 25 touchdowns in the first quarter. So what would be the who's? What would be the who's there? The who's are A, B, C, or D. I think watching the review videos, that's a really good way. So I have review videos and try doing the review questions. That's a really good way. I think there are like individual reviews, and then class is always like an engaging like experience. So it can be, yeah, good question, Ramo right there, Ramos. If it's Ramos. So when they're like, Tom Brady just broke another record. He's been sacked 10 times in the second quarter. We shouldn't have put Tom Brady back in. He's too old for this. What are the who's there? Is the sports announcer the who? Is that what we're talking about data on? Like a data line of row would be the sports announcer. Is a data line of row? It's the individual games, yeah. Yeah, the game. Like most sacks in that game or something. It's going to be the individual games. So each game is like a who in the data set. Each Super Bowl. Does that make sense, Soraya? Like each Super Bowl would be like, here's Super Bowl 25 and what happened and the scores in Super Bowl 25. Here's Super Bowl 26 and the scores that happened, the records of it. So every time they're talking about something, they're talking about each individual game is a row of data, and that would be the who in that data set. There we go. We got another question. Drop another one in the chat. We got Facebook photos. So let's talk about Facebook photos. I don't think we saw it yet, so we got to go grab it. The grocery store one, people ask about a lot. Where's the Facebook photo? So, yeah, once you start getting it down, you're like, okay, the who's are the rows. So it's whatever we're collecting data on. A little similar type question right here on the Facebook one, and we're out of questions, so please drop more. If you have your quiz open, just look at your quiz question and be like, hey, can you just make sure I know this one completely? And also, Ramos, this is a great time right here, office hours, to jump in, especially if I went through something at the end of lecture a little too quickly or it just didn't stick. Like, sometimes you got to hear things like 3 times. And then we got another one right here. I like it. We can do some chapter 2 homework. Let's do it. We do what people ask. If you're here and there's nothing to do, we do what you ask. Okay, Facebook uploads more than 350 million photos days on its server, and this is old school news, so this is probably more than ever now. Describe the who and the what. So when they upload photos, they probably have to take things like how big is the photo, what is the photo of, does it violate the guidelines? So each photo is going to be like info on each photo. So you're going to have a photo, info on the photo, info on the photo. Very clearly, I'm trying to tell you the photos are the what's of the data set. Like each photo is going to be like, here's a photo in like the data set, and then you'd have what is the photo of, what's the size of the photo, Each photo is a what of data. Each photo makes, if you kind of know what I'm doing here, each photo makes up a what is the whose, because it's a row of data, right? So does it first say the whose is the photos and the what would be the things about the photos? So yeah, that's got it right there. Row of data. Ronan knows. Well, I think we're going to do some chapter 2. Remember, anything you ask, if the floor is open, we do it. I will say this, sometimes if there's like 5 people asking, I'll usually go for the most recent assignments. But if someone comes in here and no one's in and they're like, hey, you want to talk about Batman or something? I'll talk about Batman. And then maybe I'll try to do some work. Do you about to go over the number of speeding tickets question from chapter 2 homework? Let's do it. Who would like it if I just do all of chapter 2 homework right now? As in, if you're here right now, we'll start with the speeding ticket one, because that was asked first, and then we'll do all of chapter 2 homework. So if you're here, and if no one says yes, then we won't do that. Then, yeah, you got it, Emerson. So we're going to do all of chapter 2 homework. You get that off your plate and be like, chapter 2. And, Emerson, since you asked, start with speeding ticket or start from the beginning? Since Emerson, whatever you want, because we're going to do it all. Emerson, since you asked, beginning or speeding ticket, take your pick. I'm getting it loaded up. So just say speed or beginning, and I'll do in that order. Speeding ticket, you got it. Let's go. Okay, let me find it. Okay, and then I'm going to mark it. These actually go in the same order for everybody. Wait, which number is it, Emerson? Am I going crazy? Am I going mad? It's not this one, is it? It's the last one, right? It's this one? It's this one, right? Yes, this is a classic one. It's actually like there's only a few tough ones. Thank you, Emerson. Let me throw you some points. All right, let me take the notes on this. I lost my note video. Okay, there we go. Okay, this one gets people, and it's pretty fun. Like, you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, it's not fun. Okay, taking my notes so people can come back. And homework, chapter 2. Okay. They just mark the question, usually question 7. Okay, so this one actually goes to the shape of data for each of these questions. And we're going to try to draw this out. Now, imagine you ask somebody how many speeding tickets they have. Just what might they say? Just give a response in the chat. You say to someone, how many speeding tickets do you have? You say, which is a quantitative question, which is what chapter 2 is dealing with right here. You say, how many speeding tickets do you have? What might they say? 1 or 2, 0, stuff like that, right? So we got a lot of 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 2, 10. That's a 10 right there. That's a 10. That's not a 1 or a 2. That's a 10. So when you think about this data, it's going to have a big peak around like 0 and 1 and 2. And the data is going to be very, very what? You know him. You love him. He's back. The data is going to be very what? Due to people getting a lot of tickets, extreme values are saying what to the high? This monster man is skewed to the right. That's right to the high. This is the high numbers right here. Like 10 is a high number. And if his tail goes to the left, we say left to the low. So a low skewed or left skewed monster man looks like this. And that would be a left skewed monster man if his tail was down there. Like test grades or something are usually left skewed. GPAs are left skewed. So probably unimodal because a lot of people get 0, 1, or 2 tickets, and then skewed to the right due to extreme outliers over there. So the distribution is probably unimodal because a lot of people are getting like 0, 1, or 2. And it's probably skewed to the right. We kind of visualized it right here. This is it at the bottom. And then we can say because a lot of people get 0, 1, or 2, and there's a few extreme values. Next, we have players' scores. Now, this one I think is the toughest because I got to remember how golf works. And this one could trick me. This is the one that I'm always like, how does this one work again? How does golf work? And when you think about it, actually, I think, let me look at the answers for the last part because that always reminds me of the way to do this one. Okay, do you think, who's ever watched golf? Does every golfer get a different score in golf? It's like, well, you got a 67, you can't get that. Is that the way golf works? Every golfer has a different score? Is that the way golf works? No, not the way it works. There's usually a cluster, exactly, a cluster around like 70, 71, whatever par is. I think it's 70. Maybe courses differ, but right around there. Every golfer will be above the mean. That's theoretically impossible because the mean is the average. So first 2 answers right there are just theoretically impossible. More golfers will score above the mean than below the mean. That is possible depending on skew. Most golfers will be very high or very low with few golfers in the middle. No, that's not what it sounds. Okay, more golfers will score above the mean than below the mean. So if more, this is the one that sounds most plausible, and let's draw it out. If more golfers score above the mean, that means the data would look like this. I'll explain in a second. Because this, like, what if you score a 58 in golf? For those who know golf, what if you score a 58? How would a 58 be in golf? How would a 58 be in golf? If you got a 58 in golf, we look at like U.S. Open golf tournaments across multiple times, a 58. For those who know golf, how would a 58 do? Like, man, the first time I golfed a full 18, I got a 58. You'd be like, what are you doing? That's amazing. So there's a left skew to this. Like, some people have amazing scores. And a note we should have is that the mean follows the what? The mean follows the what? The mean follows the what? Tiger Woods right there. Classic Tiger. Some Tiger PGA Tour. The mean follows the skew. So the mean is going to the left. This is a left skewed monster man. Left skew monster man. Monster man right here. He's always looking back at his tail there. Left skew monster man. So we probably have it's skewed to the left. And the mean, more golfers will score above the mean. Because what percent of golfers are above the median? Above the median is 50%, and below the median is 50%. So this above the mean has to be something like 70%. Exactly right there, Ronan. Good work. So this is the trickiest one. Some of the answers are just not theoretically plausible. It's probably unimodal. Hopefully I get this right. And skewed. Check the answers. We got it right. Least favorite. That is not a good test question because it requires golf knowledge. When you say follow, you mean it draws closer to the low numbers. Yes! It follows the tail. Zariah right there. It follows the tail. So can we come back and watch these later? Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Ronan right there. Ronan helping out Ramos right there. These are posted, and I timestamp everything so you can watch it later, and you can see these. Perfect question / answer. This is the toughest question on this assignment. Weights of female babies born. So what do you think most babies weigh? 4 pounds, 8 pounds, or 12 pounds? What do you think most babies weigh? And maybe not perfectly. 4 pounds, 8 pounds, 12 pounds. What do you think most babies weigh? 4 pounds, 8 pounds, 12 pounds. Probably about 8 pounds, maybe 8.6 ounce, whatever. 8 pounds. And then you have very few at the 4 and very few at the 12. I mean, the 12 is a big baby. So I'm going to work out here carrying this baby. And 4 is like maybe some ICU or neonatal, things like that. Hopefully they're going to do all right. Big baby, maybe any baby can have complications, but you usually want more of a average weight for babies. Like, average is good in some ways. You say, I don't want to be average. Well, in some ways we want to be average. Average height is sometimes pretty good. It's, if you're like, I want to be tall, like, your back starts to hurt. Your feet go off the bed. You hit your head. Your clothes just everything, nothing fits. If I could snap my fingers right now and become 5'10", I'd do it. Didn't happen. Unimodal means one peak. Good question, Emerson, right there. So when you hear unimodal, it means uni means one, and modal means peak. So how could we change this up? Instead of saying unimodal, we could say bimodal. So if we say bimodal, it means what? Bimodal. What does bimodal mean? Good question, Emerson. Really good questions. If you're in our class, make sure I mod you next class. Great questions. No, you can say there's a smaller lower peak and a slightly higher second peak. Some people even debate, is that bimodal? Like the one on the far left is probably no, and this one is probably yes, bimodal. Think of it as a mountain range. Sometimes there's a slightly higher mountain than the other. You can even have trimodal if it has 3 peaks. I'm blocking it with my head. You can just call it multimodal if it has multiple peaks. But the modality of something deals with how many peaks there are. The modality deals with how many peaks there are, how many concentrated areas of data, and that is called unimodal and also symmetric. So it's unimodal. Symmetric means it can be folded over on top of itself, like our faces are symmetric. And does that make sense, Emerson? So the weights of babies are probably, most babies are around 8 pounds, with some a little heavier, some a little lighter. It's unimodal because there's this peak around 8, and it is symmetric because kind of some a little higher, some a little lower, and it's kind of what you want. Most babies will be an average weight with some a little lighter, some a little heavier. If you have a multimodal data set, but the magnitude of the peaks are low, good question. So really, Ronan, such a good question. Let me throw you bonus points right there, Ronan. Ronan. And please, correct me if I mispronounce it or missay anyone's name. I literally sometimes have a hard time reading the screen, and I think my brain will just autocorrect to something I know. Like we were talking about Roman in class today. Shouts, Roman. So this is clearly multimodal. This is probably still multimodal. This probably not so much. And this would be no right here. So if you look, like, this would be like yes, multimodal, no. Probably more no, and this is no. So once again, you can use your words as you go from multimodal to uniform. We won't ever do a test where we ask you like exactly. It's just the one on the bottom is very uniform. Yeah, even though it might have little bumps, it's very uniform. A perfect uniform distribution. I don't know if I have enough room. I can still draw. Oh, I ran out of room. A perfect uniform distribution would look like this. So that's a perfect uniform. And this is probably uniform. Like this dividing line right here, when you reach down here, this is uniform. Like it's still uniform enough. This is still multimodal enough. There's some point in the middle which would be hard to draw where this is definitely multimodal, and it's more like a sinusoidal, which means like a sine wave. You think about sine waves, if you've seen a sine wave, cosine wave. So we call it sinusoidal, meaning sine wave shaped. So we have a lot of different words, but multimodal, things like that. Does that help right there, Megan and everybody? To see like there's delineation. You could do the same thing with bimodal. You could morph it into something like unimodal. So there's no perfect point, and then we'll answer the last one. So bimodal and unimodal. Like a clear unimodal, well, we're saying no, not bimodal at the bottom. So that is clearly unimodal. That's probably just outliers. That's probably bimodal, and that's definitely bimodal. Does it make sense? Like at this point, I'm probably going to say it's unimodal. So to the question of is this bimodal, obviously this one is. This one, yeah, sure, it still kind of is. This one, nah, not so much, and this one, no. So as you morph between these, the answer of bimodal becomes less, and it changes. Like there's no exact point. Does everyone kind of get that? And we'll do the last part here. But I hope that helps illustrate. That's why I love using the pen right here. The length of hair. Now shout outs to those people growing the hair out. Does anyone know what the awkward hair length is? Who in my chat right now knows what the awkward hair length is? And hey, if you got that and you rock that, you rock that awkward length hair, quote unquote. Does anyone know it? Who knows? Does anyone ever grow their hair out besides me? We'll see what chat says and I'll answer it. Now, once again, nothing. You do Mew here. I probably got an awkward length hair. Brian's got that. This is actually, you know what? I'm about to reach awkward length. Awkward length is when about you get here. If anyone grows their hair out, especially if you're a guy, and it gets right about to there, and it just goes in your face, and it's like over your eyes, and you're just like doing this, you're doing that. I might have today might be the first day of awkward length. It might have hit that, and then it usually goes to about there. So it's from here to there. I think is it doesn't want to do. You don't got that short hair that just kind of does what it does. You don't got that long hair where you can do what you want. So we get that. So here's what I'm trying to point out with this. A lot of people probably have what length hair? If you were to look at lengths of hair in terms of inches, a lot of people probably have what length hair? And then a lot of people probably have what length hair? Do you get what I'm saying? Catch what I'm putting down? If you look at length of hair in terms of inches, a lot of people probably have what? So we got like length of hair right here. We're off the screen. Shit down above. A lot of people probably have what? If we look at lengths of hair, Shorter, long, exactly. And a lot of it can be connected to gender. True. I mean, I had my hair. I've gotten my hair like that short. I've had like a like 4 guard or 5 guard. I've never gotten like fully. I'm so pale that it's just like I burn everywhere. I got freckles everywhere. I'm just so it's not good. I don't want to. Yeah. I remember one of our friends growing up. Her hair was so like light that her scalp would burn, and that's probably what happened to me. I think it's happened to me. Yeah. Anyways, there are people who have kind of a I'm Brian is over here-ish. I'm reaching that awkward length. I'm on the towards that. But a lot of guys have hair my length or a little shorter. A lot of women or some guys, some gals, some pals have length that's a little bit longer. And the thing is, you can keep growing your hair as long as you want. There was a singer, one of the people in Stranger Things the season just happened, was wearing her shirt. Her hair was down to her knees. Like the singer, I can't remember her name, but we looked her up. I was like, "Is that real?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was in like the 80s." So yeah. So how does this distribution look? We got 2 monster men here. These are right-skewed monster men. So because of the high skew nature to it, we got some right-skew monster men over here. And it's bimodal. So it'd probably be bimodal, skewed to the right. Men and women have different modes, and it's possible to have very long hair, but you can't have negative hair. So that's why there's kind of this abrupt stop right here. You can't have negative hair, but your hair could just keep getting longer and longer, hence the right skew to it, and that should do it. Well, that is the hardest question right there. So Emerson, does that make sense? That is the hardest question. You should be done with it. Should have that 100, and I hope that better elucidates how to do this one, and you get to see the data. It's because there's there's this hard stop. Good question right there. There's a hard stop down here. I'll highlight it. Down here on the bottom, there's no skew because you can't have negative hair. So Monster Man stops. But this over here, if you take a look, you can see the skew nature because hair can keep going longer. And so the skew, I'm doing this in color right here, is the elongated tail for people who can still have longer and longer hair. Like there are people with very, very long hair and they keep growing it out, but there's no skew on this side because it stops. So if you think about this as 2 different distributions, you could draw here like distribution 1 could be something like that. Well, it stops. It literally stops. So it literally can't have the skew. Distribution 1 is like this. And then, and once again, and even, like men grow their hair out too, obviously. And then distribution 2, which they would build up on top of each other, is going to be something. And women, of course, can shave their heads too. So there you go. And so they both kind of have this right skew. So when you look at this, that's the way the distributions are kind of built up. And they both kind of have this right skew and this hard stop. Does that help out right there, Megan? That you think about 2 different distributions, and they both have a bit of a right tail going on right there, and just the way it goes. And the women's distribution might look, I guess there might be even more women with like shorter hair. It's you could theoretically go against the question because you could say, well, maybe is it less skew, right skew? I don't know. It's the way they did it. I do admit that's a little. Let me throw you some points. It's a good kind of depends on how you theoretically talk about it. Yeah. Well, so it's what the data set would look like is you would have to collect data the following way. You'd have to say the whos would be each person, and you'd get length of hair. And then you could go here and do, actually, maybe I'll do it. Sure. You know what? Let me show this. ChatGPT. Let me get my RStudio going. Oh, ChatGPT changed again? Sure. Why is it changing every 2 seconds? Huh? Okay. Every 2 seconds, gonna change on me. Okay. Make a data set of length of hair for men and women. It should have 2 variables, gender and length of hair in centimeters. Do it for how the data should theoretically look. Then make ggplots for this. The full histogram of length of hair. Stacked histogram for men and women. make them beautiful. Okay. This is one of the great things about using ChatGPT, and I may have had a typo in it, but that doesn't matter. One of the great things about using ChatGPT is you can just ask questions like this, and especially if you write code, it's going to create the code for you really quickly. So I absolutely love that we can do this. And so we're going to get code right here and get fake data. Just, like I could make up my fake data. I could go like hair length, and then in the hair length, I could do just whatever. So I can just make up fake hair lengths, and I can go gender, and then make up whatever. And I would just have to make up all this data. But due to how fast, is it going to be random? That'd be interesting. Actually doing it from, I don't know, RT normal, right? Oh, right tail normal. Oh, I didn't know there's see, now I learn a function, right tail normal. You're about to see the code here in a second. And then we're going to get some graphics. And tell me if this helps out. I always say seeing is understanding. So we're going to take a look at this here really quickly. It's almost done. It's creating the final graphics. And we have the code. Okay. You are not meant to learn how to code, but it's really nice. Tidyverse loads up all the Tidyverse created by Hadley Wickham. I do not have Tidyverse. That's great. I thought I had Tidyverse. We're probably just using a library ggplot2. And we're probably just using library dplyr. And let's hope that's all we're using, because that's all I'm going to run at the moment. We're going to make some random data, 600 men, 600 women, draw from these distributions. And then we're going to make a tibble, which we should have, of course, of their hair lengths. And now we go, there's the different hair lengths, and now we can start making the plots. So here's the first plot. This is everybody's hair lengths right here. Does that make sense? So this is kind of what I drew. Do we still have our... It's kind of, you can see, for some reason, I guess the men are more central to this. The men have less variation, less spread of the data for men. And then we can see the men and women's hair lengths right here. And you can see men can definitely have longer hair, and women can have shorter hair. It's pretty much what I drew. And you can see the histogram. This is a stacked histogram now. Does this help, Ronan, to see it kind of how it would look? There's the men, there's the women, and you can see that there is kind of right skew. You might say this one's a little left, but overall the full distribution has a bit of a right skew to it, and there's no upper length of hair length. There is a abrupt stop at 0. I hope when it simulated it, it shouldn't allow for length of male hair to go lower than 0. And we go to men. Oh, they're doing and also a men long hair. So men short. Okay, yeah, it didn't get a negative number. So how do you recognize that is bimodal if one of the modes is much higher than the other? And you can say that. Good question, Megan. You can literally say that this is a bimodal distribution where the mode for short hair is a lot taller than the mode for long hair. And if you walk around campus, you'll probably see a lot more shorter hair. Maybe not to this extent, because this is like but also. Actually, you know what? You might see it like this, because length of hair for women, think about this. This might be to your shoulders. Or this length of hair for women might be that. And then next might be shoulder length, then a little bit longer. But men are so tightly clustered right here, makes a higher peak, because men usually have 2 or 3 inch hair. And then time for a haircut, gotta get another trim down. But women vary between maybe 10 inches to 14 inches of hair, or that's in centimeters. So women vary between 20 to 40, where men only vary between 2 to 5. So men are more consistent, less spread, where women have a larger variation. You can be outside those variations, but you look at the haircuts of women, you might have here length or their length. Where you look at a lot of men, it might be short or a little medium. And that's a big variation in men, because a man who, has his hair basically buzz cut, that's going to be a big difference from a guy like me. Of course, my length of hair, when you have a woman who has her length of hair here, or a male who has his length of hair there, then you don't see as much of a difference when you go from here to there. Although it's a difference, especially my wife, her hair is halfway down her back or so. It's I don't know, she'll cut an inch or two. Gosh. Has any girlfriend, boyfriends in the chat, your significant other has cut their hair and you didn't notice? That's definitely made that mistake. I try to be ever vigilant on haircuts now, because my wife will be like, "What do you think?" And I'll be like, "I like the haircut," and she's like, "I'm wearing makeup," and I'm like, "Oh, haha, I like the makeup." It's I noticed. But anyways, that's life right there for you. But any questions right now? We might come back to chapter 2 homework. Emerson, have you completed chapter 2 homework? We're towards the end of office hours right now. I'm probably gonna go get some food, But really productive office hours. We did the hardest question. We also got to see some cool R code. So, yeah, the rest is easy. Like, here, watch this. You ready? We'll do it again another time. You ready? Watch this. Is this appropriate way to display the data? Yes, because each movie falls in one category. Can't have any, like, what is it, 21 Jump Street. I am really stuck with good time, bad time. Which, is it a question? Zariah, we still have time. Which one do you want me to do, Zariah? Which was the most common? It's hard to see. Ooh, it's not rated, right? Ooh, it'd be better if it was a bar chart. It's a little hard to see. University teacher sends emails. This is a unimodal right-skewed distribution. So a lot of students are emailing like 1 or 2 times. Common email 1 or 2 times with few sending more than 5. Oh, whoop. It's right. What am I doing? It's not unimodal right skew. I mean, it's not unimodal symmetric. It is right skew. I even said that. And there we go. That should be right. Got to read the full question. What's the shape? And Zariah, put that in the chat real quick, and I'll do that one. We still have time. So let me know. We go until 12:15. This is a right skew monster man. Left skew. What is going on? I think I didn't have a lot of breakfast this morning. I didn't have my second cup of coffee. I know right to the high, left to the low. Quiz question. I thought it was categorical because it's yes, no, but it's tally. And so what is this? Is this chapter 1 or chapter 2, Zariah? And we'll do that question here. I'm just having a little fun getting questions wrong. Is that chapter 1 or chapter 2? And let's go find that one. And you say it is good time, bad time. Good time, bad time. This is a left skew distribution. And a lot of people are between 74 to 46 right there. There's a peak right there. So a lot of people between there. Yep. Still left skew. Chapter 1. What type of mode would the life expectancy one be? Is that... And which chapter is it, Megan? Is it the life expectancy? Is it this one? Okay, let's do this one real quick. Oh, yeah, I'll complete this, then we'll go to Zariah's real quick. So this, because it is skewed, we're going to use the median and the IQR. Because it is skewed, remember, we pick, based on the shape of the data, the proper center and spread. So based on the shape of the data, no worries. Thank you so much. We pick, if it's skewed, to use the median IQR. If it's more normal, mean and standard deviation. So the proper center, I think it said center, which will be larger. Well, the mean follows the skew. So the mean is going to be lower, and the median is going to be higher because the median is not going to get pulled by the skew. So the mean is going to follow the skew. The mean follows the skew. That's a good mnemonic to have. So the median will be larger because it is left skew. So the median will be larger because it is left skew. And choose the correct answer right here. For, should we use mean or median? We should use median because it is skewed. I think that's got it. Another student at the club says it's skewed. What would be the typical center? It's going to be median. So literally in this question, you just have to see data is skewed. What is the right center? Answer is median. So we're almost done here with this one. A common histogram shows life's right here. IQR, the IQR is the range of the middle 50%. It's probably in here. So report, it's skewed. So since it's skewed, we're going to use IQR. So since the data is skewed, report the IQR since it is skewed. So that's got that. Okay. And we did that one. And this is weird. They say there's no overlap, I guess. Oops, there's no possibility of overlap. I literally misclick. And then you figure out the total out of 100 that's not there. So you take and you subtract from 100 to figure out the other category. For some reason, they're only recording one cause of death. And so you go 23.7 plus 22.9 plus 5.1 plus 5.7 plus 5. And that should be right. Minus from 100. And as long as I added every number and subtract from 100, I got it. Then you find the one with the other category because we just found out 37% other. That's got it right there. And that's done it. So hopefully, Emerson, you have 100 on this, and other people watching, if you notice, maybe I'll put this in the notes, like speed running the whole quiz or the whole homework. So this was the last like 10 minutes. So 48, 13, kind of going from a guess. MyPearson homework, chapter 2, speed running, all other questions. Okay, let's go check out the chapter 1. Anyone here get some work done? Megan, good work right there. Would you say the exam questions are even? They're about similar. A lot of conceptual. Like, we usually feel like if you can get the homeworks and quizzes done on Pearson, you're probably good. But you might over practice them. That's where it's like someone like does them so many times or only uses the videos. Use the videos, but then be like, okay, what is he teaching? What should I know? Because I fear sometimes people either just chat GPT or use the videos. I feel like sometimes homework questions can be subjective. The exam is not. Good question, Megan, right there. Our exams are very much not subjective. We are very much like, we'll be like, give you a very skewed data set and be like, what is the proper center median? Or we'll even just ask for skewed data, what's the proper center? So we make it very, 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 very clear. The exams, I think, we actually debate questions that are not clear. And we look at, we get what's called an analysis to see if questions are not clear. It gives us a analysis you can look at to figure out. Like, it's kind of neat. It shows you students who did well on the test, and if they all of a sudden got questions wrong, like if there's a weird thing. Yeah, don't go on your second guesses on the quiz on the test. We will do that. And it was so Zariah, the one was, you said good time, bad time. How does the question start? Good time, bad time? And if you see the number, you can tell me the number. June 20. Thank you so much. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, the first 3 words of it always help me find it because then that's what I'll look for. Thank you so much. This is Ian Walker. Let's find it. Let's do this one. If the question says like fill in the following, ignore that. Okay, here we go. Found it. Okay. And drop. We might do like one more. Good hour-long office hours. Have in-person office hours later today. MyPearson homework. Chapter. No, quiz. Chapter 1. June 2011. Okay. June 2011 poll asks Americans thinking about the job situation in America today, would you say that it is now a good time or bad time to find quality jobs? The choices were good time or bad time. What kind of variable is this? Now, what are the 2 types of variables? Don't even read their answers. There's only 2 types of variables. Now, there's subtypes within, like ordinal, if it has order, like state preference. There's like nominal, if it has no order, like state you're born in. There's continuous, if it can have decimals. Like I had 2.5 slices of pizza last night. I wish I did. It would have been good. What are the 2 types of variables? This is how to review. The 2 types of variables are, what are the 2 types of variables? And then we'll answer this. Categorical or quantitative. An identifier is a special case categorical variable, which this is not. But when you ask somebody good time or bad time, you're not asking for a number. So this is 100% categorical, and it would use words and not numeric values. So that is a categorical response right there. Categorical variables are things like yes, no, cat, dog, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And then there's subtypes within, like, ordinal categorical variable, nominal categorical variable. And then there's subtypes within or identifier, which is a special case categorical variable. Great job, Megan. And thank you, everybody. Really great office hours. Tell people, you can tell people in other sections too. Be like, hey, if you just swing by and say, hey, Brian, can you do this question? Can you explain it? Let me know. When you get the numbers, you can do anything with them. Kind of. Like, remember, just because it's a number doesn't mean, exactly, you can't do anything with them. Right. Because, like, you could have zip code. Zip code is not quantitative. It's a group of people who live in a zip code. Area code is not quantitative. Like your 865 area code, not a quantity of area code. It is people who share that area code. So you would say the group of people who have 865 area codes. It's not, oh, I have 865 area code. Well, I mean, you do, but you don't have 865 of area code. But if you ask somebody, how many Quest bars do you have in your office? The answer is a lot. And the answer would be something like 20 Quest bars. I got some recently. It's a sale on Quest bars. Don't look at me. I mean, sure, but so with that in mind, it should represent an actual real number that math can be done on. Quantitative data is actual real numbers like 20 Quest bars, where you could say I had 20 Quest bars and they had 15. We have a difference of 5. Where when you have area codes like 423, Kingsport area, or Chattanooga 2, and 865 area code, when you say that, well, you wouldn't say they have a difference of 442. They do, but that doesn't difference.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Zariah and everybody, excellent work. We'll go back here and we'll say bye. Thank you so much. We usually start a little bit after class. We get about an hour of online office hours. Tell people, drop in and just ask questions. We do the office hours here, and then we get a fun outro. You're welcome, Ronan. So, like, tally, we'll it doesn't matter. Well, so 7 yes and 8 no's, would that be categorical or quantitative? 7 yes and 8 no's, and I love this question. Let's go back and let's throw some points. Please ask those questions. 7 yes and 8 no's. Is that categorical or quantitative? 7 yes and 8 no's. If we have data like 7 yes and 8 no's, is that categorical or quantitative? When we have 7 yeses and 8 no's, like we say, do you want to go to Taco Bell? And 7 people say yes and 8 people say no. Is that categorical or quantitative? So when we asked 15 people if they want to go to Taco Bell, and we have 7 yeses and 8 no's. This is a good question that the students have asked me. Well, a lot of people think quantitative, but it's not. It's categorical. Always, and this is Zariah. I think I'm going to show you, Zariah, some big points. We just threw some big points in the chat. This is a great question you just asked. So notice how these are values right here, and you can do math on them, but always look to the question asked. If the question is, what class are you on the Titanic? Then we would do a count of individuals in each group. How many people said yes or no, or said freshman, sophomore, or first, second, third crew. So the question is what creates the summaries of it. So we didn't ask like how many, the original question wasn't how many people want to go to Taco Bell, which we had 7 yes, 8 no. The question was, do you want to go to Taco Bell, which is yes, no. So the answer yes, no is categorical. And then we summarize it when we do categorical variables with things like bar charts, Pareto charts, and these create summaries of categorical variables. And that's the first thing we talk about right here. Does that make sense, Soraya? That I know it's like, but wait, that's a number, but that's a summary of people who said yes or no. So when you have people saying yes and no, that's a categorical response. And then you can say what percent said yes, what percent said no. And although that's a number, that's a summary of the question, yes or no. But meanwhile, if you go down here to the other data, the question would be like, how old were you on the Titanic? Yeah, exactly. The question creates the type of variable it is, and then it can be summarized into graphics. This question was, how old are you on the Titanic, which is a quantity of how old you are. So categorical questions will always be things like, why were you late to work? And you could have the amount of people who said traffic, like nearly 33% said traffic. And although 33% or maybe 55 people said traffic, because this is about at 55 people saying traffic is someone responding, I was late because of traffic, which is a categorical response to the question, why were you late to work? Which is a category of like different reasons to be late to work. And then we have a count, which is an amount, but the question itself was categorical. Zariah, let's throw you one more thing of points. Please ask those questions at any time. I had a student who got like an A in the class, had like a 98, and they asked that same question. So I was like, wait, we're not leaving yet. We're going to answer that one. Thank you so much. And even if there's a question right now, I'll answer it. But I'm going to head off to the other screen. Bye for now. Bye. We've almost got these new intros ready. We're almost there.
This has been going for like 20 hours. This ends now.